Testing 1 2 3 4. Testing 1 2 3 4. This is Jimmy Jordan.
Okay.
Testing 1 2 3 4. Testing 1 2 3 4. I'm gonna have cough trouble tonight. Testing 1 2 3 4. This is Hank Griffith. Testing 1 2 3 4. Testing 1 2 3 4. This is Kalinda Lee. This won't matter because, well, she's not here. Testing 1 2 3 4. Testing 1 3 2 4. Whew. That's a long day when you can't count to three. And then that's Jeanette Walden. Testing 1 2 3 4. Testing 1 2 3. Denise Shinholster. Testing 1 2 3 4. It's Mary Parham Copeland. Good. Testing 1 2 3 4. 1 2 3 4. Do you need to know who they are?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Then testing 1 2 3 4. Testing 1 2 3 4. Testing 1 2 3 4. That's live. That's over. Testing 1 2 3 4. This is the most important one of all. Testing 1 2 3 4. We good to go. I got some cough drops up here too. Oh yeah, 'cause we might have some. Oh Lord. Me a cup of cold too. So testing 1 2 3 4. We good?
You got an agenda I can follow along with?
Yes, that's what I'm bringing up. Well, see, this for the mayor. This
They
for
use the
mine.
projector on?
No, I don't think so. The presentation we had got canceled, so there you go. That's the only wild card right here. That's canceled, so that won't even be there. That right there, public hearing for the tax. We may have people. We had two people one time and one person another. And of course, they got to talk to you. So yeah. If nobody comes tonight, which I'm not gonna count on it because word's gotten out. Longer word gets out, more people want to come talk. All right. Oh, here they are. because so in is it 2 weeks time we'll have our last meeting of the year. December the 12th, 26th. That's Christmas holiday. So that's kind of what I'm trying to gear up. That we only got one more meeting, and Hayden has no intention. So yeah, right. So what I guess we need to keep in mind is make sure it's not our fault that they're not getting, like they're ready. They just we're not taking payment from them. You see what I'm saying? Just we need to make sure it's. Well, we got a good one tonight. I like that. But that's us holding it off. They can be approved. They can, yeah. Exactly. You're approved, but you're not getting license. Well, and that's what because it needs to zing them a little bit. Say, okay, I got to move that trash can out in front of the exit. Then they got to move it, and not put it back. So whatever they got to do, they got to fix this, that, and that'll make them do it. So that's the first, because I technically need them. See, I've got to have them in the boxes. No, I need them before the 8th because I got to have them in the boxes on the 8th. So I need them. No, oh God, you already prepare your stuff pretty much. So, but we are putting them in a resolution format. So I have to. It takes a little more process than just taking a list now because we adopt these now. Our resolution, and this is an exhibit of the resolution, so I have to put them together. I have to know, like I have to know, yeah, it doesn't because I just attach it to, I just have to put exhibit A on top, so get email if I This that you see, it's in Excel, right? I'm missing page. I had it. Where in the heck can it be? Oh, these were last time. Hey, Billy. I'm missing one. It's 18. Not right now, I'm not. I'm missing a page. In alcohol licenses. That's correct. No, because like last time, I mean, if you want to speak on something other than military, you can sign up. But if you want to speak on that, yeah, you will have an opportunity. She'll open up the floor like she did last time. So if you want to speak on apples and oranges in the street, you can sign up here. And you have 3 minutes. But if you want to speak on I can tell you the kids. I didn't bring those up. No, it's just the one guy, and like I said, he was a property owner. Can't remember where city. I'm trying to think even what city. I can't remember. Do you remember the guy that spoke last time? Yeah, the county, yeah. All right, I got to go find that.
What's that?
Envelope full. That's kind of scary.
If it came from National League of Cities, our senators to bring some money with them.
Money move. Right. Good evening, everybody. It is 1 minute over the 5:30 hour. So I would like to call the November 28, 2023 council meeting to order, and I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Dr. Lee,
Here.
Miss Walden, Miss Shinholster,
Here.
Mr. Reynolds,
Here.
Miss Mapp,
Here.
Mr. Chambers. We do have a quorum.
We do have a quorum present and can proceed with the meeting. So if you will, please stand with me for the prayer and pledge. Almighty, great, and honorable God, we thank you tonight for you being God. We thank you for coming into this meeting that we may conduct the business of your house as you would like for us to. I thank you for each and every mind represented tonight as we go forth in decisions, hard decisions that have to be made to make sure that our community is safe and functioning efficiently. This is our servant's prayer. Now I'll say, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm sorry, what?
Public comments, do we have?
No one signed up.
All right, so we will move on. You all have received a copy of the November 14th, 2023 council meeting minutes. Are there any corrections that need to be made? If not, is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Dr. Lee,
Aye.
Miss Shinholster,
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds,
Aye.
Miss Mapp.
Aye.
All right, so the October 14th council meeting minutes are approved. Tonight, under my comments, I'm gonna start out and let Ms. Shinholster give you all the update from the past conference that we attended for the National League of Cities. Was that last week in Atlanta, last week or the week before, in Atlanta, Georgia. You know, we're normally away, but this time it came to Georgia. So I'm gonna let her give you an update on that.
Okay. I too attended the National League of Cities. Excellent information. You got a chance to meet and mingle with council members from several cities. I mean, from all over the United States. I shared with you all some things last week about Oregon and people from cities in Oregon and Chicago and just I sat every day at a different table that had 8 people from 8 different cities across the United States, and we all got a chance to talk with each other. Some of the interesting things and the sessions that I attend, one of them was about sending out, using the fire department as a training ground to start sending out drones as first responders. I thought that was really interesting, something I had never thought about, but apparently other cities are getting into that. A lot of the classes dealt with the aspects of Google and AI, and you all know that's the way of the world now, and that's what we're going to. So they had several different sessions on that, and the main topic of concern for almost everybody in every state was housing, and the lack of affordable housing, the lack of what to do about providing housing for families and for working people. That one of the people in one of the classes stood up and said, "So I can get my grown child and their family out of my house." Now, those were her comments as she stood to the microphone. So, you know, a lot of people in the room echoed that same sentiment, but they were saying that because of the economy, because of the pricing on housing, in every market, in every area, that this had developed into a problem that so many people are having to deal with, and you know, it was you know, we get to hear it all the time, and we hear people talk about it, And I just enjoyed finding out that it was not just, well, I knew it wasn't generic just to Milledgeville, but not just generic to Georgia. It's state by state by state. Texas, everybody's talking about the same thing. There were so many issues that we all share. I was also amazed that infrastructure and the discussion about aging infrastructure didn't come up, and we didn't have any sessions about water or planning, but there were different things on global warming and how to deal with that. So it was very informative each and every day, every minute. We had booklets with, and the classes would last from 30 to 45 minutes each session, and they started at 8 o'clock that morning and they ran all day. A, B, C, wherever you wanted to go. You had an opportunity to go listen and learn and then network with people later on. So I would advise any of the other council members. A lot of times you learn a lot just from getting out and getting away from home. I would advise any of them at any time to take the opportunity. Either next year, it's going to be in Florida next year, so that's not too far away within driving distance. And try to attend, because you really do learn a lot. It was eye-opening to me. That's all.
Oh, now y'all know when I'm away, I learn. That's why I come back with these little gadgets and say, this is what I learned. As she said, we shared a lot. I mean, I think I shared with Mr. Griffin, my eyes were open to the government AI.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just open anyway, period, to the AI thing now, because it's just an area I'm interested in. I want to get into it, and looking at it is it's a wave of the future. So it was a good conference. And thank you, Ms. Shinhouse, for making that presentation. I think Ms. Shinhouse brought y'all some goodies back too.
I did give them to
You too, Mr. Jordan. I believe she brought you a goodie bag too.
She said she brought a folder of stuff back to talk to me.
Yeah, I got this. Right here, okay. Complete with business cards and emails from some of them. They've already emailed me after talking with me, so yeah, you and I need to talk.
I think we kind of scared the lady for Norfolk. We were like, oh yeah, we need to make sure
I
we
did
get
go
stuff
back
from
and see
that.
her though. That day that you were gone, I went to Norfolk and talked with them about our problem here in Milledgeville. They were very receptive, listening, and I told them that some of them were just unbearable, and that that we realized that they didn't run through here anymore, but that was no excuse for not allowing cities, and they said that they had lobbied. She said that they had people lobbying in Congress to get them to allow local governments to encroach a little bit closer to their tracks, so that, especially the ones that are no longer in use, so that we would be able to repair the road. So that's not generic to us either. But she did listen and took our information down, and I have received an email from her. So hopefully we can get somewhere with that.
She hosts played secretary, so you should have everything you need to know. Okay. Also, the other thing that I want to bring before council tonight is that, we brought up, Mr. Jordan, I hadn't had a chance to talk to you today, but we mentioned to the NAACP bring us some suggestions of what you thought, or what they thought would make compatible suggestions for the information we gave them about the statute. So the Washington Street piece is still there, with the hopes of being able to garner, I do have, they're down in my office, about 300 petitions, hoping that we can garner enough support to be able to move it. If you go down where Moore's is, right, coming down that way, going up towards Liberty, on the opposite side of the road, I shared with them it's still in city right away. So if we moved it there, the only piece there that you could say is that we're not putting it in a museum. We're not trying to put it in a cemetery. It's still in a very visible place, where it would be toured, simply because you have your trolley going around through there. We still have the piece of who actually owns it, who would be paying for it to be moved. So I do have that, that I'm presenting tonight, that I was asked to present. And like I said, I do have the petition requests, the 300 petition requests. They're down in my office. I'll get them and give them to you before you leave tonight. And so maybe we can look at that and try to move forward before the year's out with that, at a minimum.
Sure. Absolutely.
Mr. Jordan, have you been able to make any leeway on finding who owns that statue?
No, and I'll, to be honest with you, we have not pursued that further because at one time there was discussion that that the mayor would appoint a committee that would not only look at the issue of ownership, but look at the whole historical context of the monument. And I don't know if we're still planning to do that. We definitely can. We have contact information on two historians that may be able to provide information.
Okay.
But we had just kind of, I don't want to say shelve it, but we definitely have held it back pending whether this committee was going to be appointed.
My reason for asking
Sure.
is that if, you know, I know that coming, you know, we asked the committee, the group that was here to come up with a location, and they've done just what we've asked them to do. But what I'm afraid of is if we decided to move it to another place where it's on the city's right of way, everyone is going to assume that it belongs to the city.
Well, I
if
think
we
that's-
take on that responsibility. So that's my concern.
I'm not sure that we can move it
Yeah.
without it belonging to the
Right,
city.
right.
But on the other hand, too, if it belongs to someone else, then, you know, they would have to be, you know, there's clearly some options there. City is prepared to incur the expense of moving it to a location that is in compliance with the statute, with the Georgia law, that it could be conveyed to the city as such. I don't know what the city would want to take on that responsibility of relocating it, but I mean, that is a possibility. Or if someone else is determined to own it and take responsibility for it, it can be either relocated at their expense with the city's consent on where to place it, or be relocated somewhere that the owner, whoever that is, would choose to place it. But if we're not going to appoint a committee, then we can definitely move forward to make that determination.
So I did try to appoint this committee.
I know you-
It fizzled out.
Right?
So in all fairness to them, because that's what we told them, is that bring a suggestion. And I truly understand the concern Ms. Denise have. I have the same concern. We don't want to take ownership of something that is not ours. And I know that was one of the concerns, was whether or not it's in city's purview that we're still using taxpayers' dollars to continue to maintain the area around it. I know that was one
That's
of the
true.
issues. I mean,
But it has, you know, there may not be a clear-cut answer to that from a legal standpoint. It has obviously been in the city's possession for, I think, at least the 1920. And so what we were trying to determine was the circumstances behind the relocation from the middle of Hancock Street, which is where it originally was placed, as I understand, to its location on Jefferson Street, and who facilitated that. Obviously, if the city of Milledgeville expended city funds to relocate it, at that point, that would be indicative of
Ownership.
some form of ownership.
Can you?
It may be ownership by default because the folks that originally spent the money or caused it to be erected originally, we may not, they may not be in existence anymore.
Well, I wanted to put it out there, since it was brought back to me, and in all fairness, I told them I would make sure I brought it up. So at this point, you have some historians, you wanna see if they can dive in
Yes, ma'am.
and see if, so we can take it to the next step or wherever we need to be. I really would love to either settle it or move on by the end of the year. No, well, we're right at the end of the year, sometime the first of the year, but
Well, we-
let's settle that. We got so much on our plate that in these last 2 years, we want to try to really attack hard for the progression of the city of Milledgeville. So if you want to dab into that.
Yeah, we can move forward, and like I said, we've already identified these
Okay.
individuals, so assuming that they're willing to be
Okay.
retained and participate, we will go from there. And then I'll bring that back to you before we actually commit to spend any city funds, and then
Okay.
y'all can approve that.
Okay. I don't think I have another comment that I can think of right off my head tonight. So, the next thing on the agenda was supposed to be the Housing Authority update, and it has been rescheduled to after the first of the year. Is that correct, Mr.?
Till the 9th, actually, January 9th.
January 9th, okay. All right, so at this time, I'm gonna recognize Mr. Griffin for his city manager's report.
All right, thank you, Mayor. I just want to go over, give you just a little more information on some things that you're going to be voting on tonight. Obviously, you have seen these before, and I just want to make sure that if you review them, if you have any questions, I can answer those for you. Resolution 2311-45 is a resolution to authorize an agreement with Georgia Safe Sidewalks. We have had a contract with Georgia Safe Sidewalks every year since at least 2018. This was actually an entity that Frank Ball brought to us, the Public Works Director, and they basically survey city sidewalks and determine where there are areas that are trip hazards, either from settling of concrete, from tree roots pushing the concrete up, whatever the case may be. And then they go in a procedure that utilizes a laser for very specific measurements to then saw cut the concrete in the area where it is, for lack of a better word, jacked up in the sidewalk. And that obviously helps keep our sidewalks safer. We typically contract with them at the $10,000 level, which is in the agreement that's in your packet tonight. The first part of that is a survey of the area that has not been surveyed before, or adjustments has not been made. And then they basically are on about a 5-year rotation in terms of getting all the way around the city. I think it's money well spent. It helps us in terms of liability and just making our sidewalks safer. So I would encourage you to approve that tonight so that they can get started on it pretty soon after first of the year. If you've ever seen an area where they have repaired it, it's very obvious. But as opposed to grinding, which oftentimes will cause the aggregate in concrete to release, and then you have a bigger problem than you had before, this saw cutting that they do keeps most of the aggregate in the concrete intact, so it continues to be a solid surface. So it's good work for what they do. Also, Resolution R 231146. I believe it was 3 meetings ago, Rachel McGurr from Enterprise Fleet Management came and gave you all a presentation. And this is a resolution to authorize that agreement. If you remember, the presentation was for vehicle leasing and management services. Actually, it was 4 meetings ago now, I see on my notes. But while the leasing of vehicles is important in this agreement in terms of turning our vehicles over every 3 to 5 years, which we do not do now, what's even more important to me is the maintenance piece of that, and the fact that that maintenance pieces or those maintenance pieces on our vehicles will be scheduled based on a dashboard that they have, and I'm excited about what it's going to enable us to do. I think we have some issues, quite frankly, internally with maintaining our vehicles as well as they need to be maintained, and it's getting more and more difficult to do 2 things. Number one, it's getting more and more difficult to hire an ASC certified mechanic. When one can go to work at a car dealership and make $100,000 a year, it's difficult to get them to come work for the city for $50,000. And it's also getting more and more difficult to be able to afford the equipment that's needed. If you know anything about vehicle repair, you basically have to have a piece of machinery for every model vehicle that you have. And that's getting to the point where it's cost prohibitive. So this will give us the opportunity to maintain those vehicles and to rotate some additional vehicles into the fleet. If you remember the analysis she gave us, we will not have any actual vehicle cost until after July 1 of 24, and we will lease at that point in time 29 vehicles, and then we will go in 2025 to lease 25, in 2026 10, 2027 12, in 2028 13. But also keep in mind that we have equity in our owned vehicles now, and Enterprise Fleet Management will also be responsible for, when those are taken out of service, selling those and then putting those that equity back into our plan. So we are finding ourselves having to use outside agencies to maintain our vehicles already because of mainly of the 2 issues that I just mentioned, and this will give us the opportunity to get those vehicles maintained by contractors in the city as part of this plan.
Mr. Griffith,
Yes, ma'am.
let me ask you a question
Sure.
about that. Well, I agree with everything that you've said wholeheartedly. My only question is this the only vendor that you looked at? Because there were some and I think I have some information in this envelope that were there at the National League of Cities that do the same thing, so Enterprise is not the only vendor, and sometimes I hate to make a decision based on the presentation and then turn right back around. Don't have anything to compare it to. And I thought that before we decided to put, and I apologize for not calling you. I got really busy with Thanksgiving and doctor's appointments earlier this week and hadn't thought about it. But I looked back over that stuff that she gave us, and I just was not satisfied with the other cities, that there were not that many cities represented on there. And I'm always thinking if it's a good thing, then you're going to see more than one city doing it, and you're going to see a longer list of references. And just my opinion, I can't speak for everybody else, but she didn't have that many. And maybe she just didn't add that many on her list, but I didn't see that many.
She did not. She tried to give us some areas that were near us in terms of geography and size. I did look at 2 other potential vendors
Mhm.
for this.
But you didn't provide us that information.
Well, because I didn't get anything from those 2 vendors. And so when I send out information asking for that and I don't get it back, then my opinion is the people who come back with the information are the ones that we need to look at. I don't think we should necessarily beg people for information if
True.
we send out a request and we don't get it. But
I just like to, it's just that I just like to make an informed decision.
sure,
Not a decision just based on what somebody said, because somebody can tell you anything. And then you go with it, and I've been around here long enough to know we make decisions, getting out of the garbage business because somebody came in and told us that, and that was something that we might should have looked at a little bit further while we still own garbage trucks. And just that's just an example. I'm not saying
well, there
go
may
back
be
to
a
that,
vendor
but-
that could do this same thing,
Mhm.
but I don't think we can maintain the vehicles any cheaper than what they're showing here in-house. But mainly because of the 2 things that I just mentioned. We can certainly find, I can certainly reach out to some other folks, who, GMA has a lease program, but they don't do fleet maintenance.
Right,
That's
right.
the piece that's, of it that's most important to me. The main reason we were able to come back to them, other than the fact that they responded, is that they are part of the sole source group that that enables us to talk to them without going through an actual bid process. We can certainly get. If you will tell me some folks you want to hear from, then I'll certainly work to get the information.
Oh, and just FYI, having been a state procurement officer as well, just because they're a sole source doesn't mean that they're the only source. They're just,
I'm
yeah.
aware of that.
Yeah, okay, so I just wanted to make, when you say that, other people might not be aware that when you say sole source, they're not the only source that provides that service. But like I said, I can only speak for Denise about how I feel, and not for anybody else, but I thought I'd ask anyway. Thank you.
Hank, this is the same group that's currently providing the service for the county, is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
And they've been with them for a little over 1 budget cycle?
I think they started with this current budget cycle, so
With
they're
this
about to finish this budget cycle. So,
What, have you received any feedback from our peers at the county?
I
about their
have
experience?
talked to Ms. Hudson as well as some folks with the sheriff's department, and they've been pleased. Their only issue was that they did not get the leased vehicles that they were anticipating in as timely of a manner as they thought they should have. But that was driven by whether the vehicles were available in the market as opposed to anything that Enterprise did. Based on what Ms. McGurr told me. Now, I did not ask the county if they thought that was correct or not, but I did ask Ms. McGurr that question when that was the only thing that the county brought up.
Anybody else? Want to comment? Ms. Merritt? Dr. Lee?
Okay. I'll move on to resolution 231147. I have brought a lot of information to y'all in the 4 years that you've allowed me to be your city manager. This one may be the one that I'm the happiest about, and that is replacing the equipment at Central City Park. You have seen the quote. Unfortunately, it does not come cheap. But this will replace the 3 footprint areas at Central City Park, which are a swing area, a play area for 2 through 5-year-olds, and then a play area for 5 through 12-year-olds. There will be a little bit of additional cost to this that will not be part of the Play South contract. Because we will also be replacing the chain link fence that's around the areas. I don't want to put this in that chain link fence with the way the chain link fence looks. But I'm excited about this. I hope you all are excited about it. It's obviously something that we've been working on and trying to find the funds to do for quite some time. If you all are in favor of the equipment as it is, my direction from you tonight, other than saying get Play South started, is to determine whether we want the green or the tan rubberized material that will be under the play areas. I think I shared with you my report. I'm partial to the tan. The previous one I showed you was red. It was too much red. If you all would give me your opinion there, then that's certainly what we'll go with. And I'm happy to. And this is a turnkey job. We may be able to, and I have not had a conversation with Mr. Thomas about this to see if he's going to have the manpower in order to be able to do it. But we may have the opportunity to save the $32,500. This is a part of the quote for demo. If our public works folks do the demo for us, and he has already agreed to make that a change on the contract if we do that. So that is what we will be able to possibly save. You know, the good thing about demo is you don't have to, for the most part, at least with what's happening here, you don't have to worry about the shape that things are in once you pull it up. So they may be able to do it fairly quickly with some heavy equipment. And that fence is going to be taken down anyway. But this will be a turnkey job, either from the demo point forward or from the point that the equipment has been demoed and the new equipment is installed.
If we get Public Works to do that in-house, they should go ahead and take care of the isometric workout equipment that's a little further down.
Okay.
Because that is a walking advertisement for a tetanus shot.
We may also have them bring some of the old equipment over to your house, Mr. You were a youngster when it was installed.
Memories.
So,
That's right.
I'll run it right into Fishing Creek.
so from the time they start to finish, it's about how many days?
From the time that they actually start the installation, it is 3 to 5 weeks, depending on the weather. So that is a as you can see on the quote, a rubberized mat. He originally, in the information that I shared with y'all 2 weeks ago, he originally had only 6 swings and showed mulch in the swing area. I asked him to add another bank of 2 swings for that and put rubberized down there as well, so that we did not have to maintain the mulch, but also the fact that, as you can see, especially in the swing area, there are swings for handicapped individuals, and there's a ramp there that you can see up to that swing area. I felt like that would be better in terms of mobility issues to have that as part of the rubberized surface as opposed to the mulch. So.
I just want to know that once you say we're doing this, and it's done in XYZ days, so that we don't get bombarded.
Well, I don't know
We
that I can
have
say
got
XYZ
bombarded.
days. I mean,
Like we
it's
have.
wintertime and it's raining, so.
Well, and
but,
it's a good time to do it. Hopefully, that the
I
rain will
think it is a
hold
good
up.
time to do it, Mayor. That's exactly right. And I would like to say I planned it that way, but that just kind of accidentally happened.
Okay.
I'm excited about the possibility of it happening. Also, there are, I think there's some potential for us to have the need for some call work sessions in January to talk about a couple of different things, about the potential of issuing a bond for our water treatment and wastewater treatment plant. Also, I have been in touch with Jim Elliott since I met with y'all last Tuesday night. He and I are looking at the possibility of him coming to a call work session on January 16th. I'd like for him to come at a time when it's not a regular meeting, because I think we may want to talk to him longer than we may have time available at a regular meeting. But obviously that'll be a call meeting that will be announced to the public. So I will be in touch with you all in my future reports just to make sure that the dates that we may look at those happening are good for y'all. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right. So at this time, we're going to move to our old business, and tonight we have the third and final public hearing regarding public comment regarding the proposed millage rate being increased from 10.12 mils to 12.12 mils on the taxes levied on real and personal property assessed within the corporate limits of the city of Milledgeville. 1 mil represents $40 for every $100,000 of assets value of property. As with the first two public hearings, the procedure for the conducting this third and final hearing will be as follows. The chair will first determine that the public hearing has been properly advertised. The chair will ask the clerk to read the proposed ordinance by caption. The chair will then recognize anyone who wishes to speak regarding the proposed millage rate increase. And finally, anyone who wishes to speak regarding a millage rate increase is encouraged to do so. As you are recognized, I will ask that you come to the podium and to make your remarks and give your name and address for the records. Mr. Clerk, has this public hearing been properly posted and advertised?
It has been, Mayor.
I will ask the clerk to please read the ordinance by caption.
Ordinance O 2311-15. An ordinance to levy and assess taxes at 12.12 mils for the support of the mayor and aldermen of the city of Milledgeville for the 2023 tax year and to provide for the collection of the same.
Is there anyone present who wishes to speak on the proposed millage rate? You may step to the podium, sir. Give your name and your address for the record.
My name is Ricky Giles. I live at 205 Lakeshore Circle. And I spoke a couple of weeks ago, and I just had a few things to add. I hope y'all's minds aren't already made up. I don't know how many speakers will be tonight, 2 or 3, but I hope y'all take in consideration what we have to say. Reading in the paper lately, I do understand that the city employees need raises, but I still don't understand why we have to have a property rate increase. Because in 2022, the county reassessed the properties, and all our rates went up last year. Then now the T-Splosh just got voted in, and I'm reading that y'all are going to get either 35 or 39% of that money. The counties are reassessing the properties now. So, everybody knows property values are up, so it's going to go up again next year. Prices have all gone up on the stores on most everything, so y'all's sales tax revenue should be up this year over last year. There has been, I don't know how much, but there has been new construction within the city. So the tax base, it should be growing. Places should be of more value. So why do we have to just punish the property owners? Is there any other way? And I think one reason that everybody just says go up on the millage rate is because I see like right now, it's an easy way for y'all to do it. You don't get much backlash. I mean, it's hardly nobody here. I've asked some other people, why don't y'all come and speak? And they say you can't beat the government. So they just give up. But anyway, I'm just asking y'all to please vote no.
My name's Wesley Milholland. I live at 278 Bowling Hill Road in Haddock. And the last time I was here about 2 weeks ago, it was a big crowd. I asked, why does the city not have to do what the citizens do and sit down with their pen and decide where to spend the money and cut back here to make ends meet? I told you, citizens can't go to their boss and just demand more money like the city can do. Mr. Giles just mentioned assessments. I think we've had 2 assessments in the last 5 years, and we're under another assessment right now, which will be the 3rd time we've had to pay more property taxes in the last 5 years. If you go up on the millage rate today, we not only pay more this year, then they go up another, let's just throw a number out there, say 20 or 30% next year, we pay even more next year. I would ask you, like Mr. Giles said, explore other options. There's got to be other options than just pulling from property owners. Also, why, when we budget all year for a certain number, and we have to budget, we owe a lot of money in property tax. We have to budget for this money. The last minute, a week before, or 2 weeks, or 3 weeks before tax bills come out, city tries to go up on us. We've already budgeted. I mean, this isn't $40 or $80. This is thousands upon thousands of dollars for us. It almost be like y'all going out to eat the Longhorn, ordering your steak, and in between the time of you ordering your food, you get your food, you eat it, and all of a sudden the manager goes, "Oh, wait a minute, our power bill was high last month. We need to charge him a little more." And then when you get your bill, it's like, that ain't what I agreed to. Fairly similar to that, in my opinion. I'm asking you to vote no. I will say that if you vote yes, when I send my notices out for increases to all my tenants, I will list y'all and y'all's names and contact information as one of the reasons for rent increases. And why I'm going to do that is I think y'all need to hear the stories that I have to hear on a daily basis from my tenants about how, can I send you $100 this week and another $100 next week? I'm working 2 jobs. I started a 3rd one, but I don't get paid for it for 2 weeks. They have to hold a week in the hole. All these stories that I have to hear, and I sympathize with them. I hate going up. I told you 3 weeks ago, I had not gone up on rent in 20 years until last year. These are tough times, and not a time to increase the burden on the citizens of Milledgeville. So I will ask you to please vote no.
So, Ms. Griffin, you want to go next, since they're the only 2 here to speak? Did you
Well,
wanna?
they're just, I mean, you know.
Wait a minute, let me make sure, because I see a different face. Are you here to speak? Okay, I'm sorry.
I really don't have any comment other than to just make a couple of statements of fact. The city's tax digest actually went down this year. It went down by about $8 million. If you look at the 5-year history for county digest, the county's digest actually went up. The net digest for the county went up $1.3 million this year. And in the grand scheme of things, the way tax digests work, that's not a lot of money, but it did enable the county to raise more revenue this year by going up a very minimal amount on their millage rate. They did go up on their millage rate this year. They went from 9.93 to 10.02, and that as well is a small increase, but it will increase the amount of taxes that they generate by about 1.1%, which for them is probably about $150,000, somewhere between 125 and 150, if I had to guess. So, in terms of the tax digest for the city this year, it did actually go down, and if we don't go up on the millage rate by some amount, we will not even generate the same amount of revenue that we did last year. We will actually generate about $88,000 less than we did last year. And the city is not immune to what y'all are dealing with and to what citizens are dealing with in terms of prices going up, in terms of wages going up, in terms of your budgeting comment. I'll just simply say that we have to pass our millage rate once we get the digest from the county and we get it at the same time that they put their digest out, the county is on an annual budget, January to December budget. We're on a fiscal year budget from July 1 to June 30th. That's the reason that millage rate decisions are made in a little bit different manner. But we do have to make sure that proper notification is made and to fall within the requirements of state law, and we have done that. But you talked about sharpening your pencil. I mean, we could sharpen our pencil, but if we sharpen our pencil, then we look at services that are not offered. That's the only way to sharpen our pencil. And I don't think anybody, and I probably shouldn't speak for them, but I don't think anybody on this dais likes doing this. But I think it's just something that I have shared with them that, in my opinion, in order for the city to remain solvent and be able to do what's necessary from a service delivery standpoint over the next fiscal year, we've got to generate additional revenue. The mayor's responsible for
Well,
that.
what was,
Mr. Giles will know if he could ask a question.
stand up, Mr. Giles, and come back to the podium, please. Come back to the podium.
Okay, you said the digest came down $88,000.
No, the digest came down over $8 million.
8 million in around 88,000 in revenue. Okay, with the reassessments that we're having, that they're proceeding with now, more than likely it's gonna go up. And you're getting the T-Splash money, and then you should be getting more sales tax money because of inflation. So next year, are y'all gonna have a meeting to go back down?
That's always the
See,
possibility of discussion to.
See, I
decrease
always feel like the
rate
more
based
money
on
you
inflation.
get, the more money you spend. It's like, hey, we got an extra $50,000 or actually $200,000. Let's just spend it. But it's not y'all's money. It's all the property owners. Most of the property owners are just afraid to come over here and speak their mind.
Let me share with you, in order to answer that. If we get extra money, we don't always just spend it. Okay.
But you don't give it back.
Last year, in the last fiscal year, we ended up spending $324,000 less than was budgeted for FY 21-22. And what happened with that was that money was put in a reserve area to help us with stormwater infrastructure that we're working on
Okay.
as hard as our water and sewer infrastructure. So I'm not going to get in an argument with you about it tonight. I'm just going to state fact, and that fact is we don't always spend money we get. Okay, we know that there may come a time when we've got to be ready for a rainy day, and that $324,000 less that we spent in the last budget than was budgeted went into a reserve in order to be able to take care of that rainy day.
Okay.
You said property assessments will go up. They probably very well may, but we can't be guaranteed that, especially on the city side when we've seen it go down this year, which is the first year it's gone down at least since 2018.
Okay, so this year was your rainy day. You were $88,000 short, but the year before you were $300,000 over. So it seemed like you were prepared for your rainy day.
You know how long the city could operate on $250,000?
I didn't say that was forever. You said that was in the reserve.
That is.
Look, I'm saying I understand with a county, a business, or a family, you can always spend extra money. Most people don't save for the rainy day, and I applaud you for doing that, not just throwing it away. But I'm just saying, enough's enough. I mean, I don't even think there should be a city tax. Anybody that lives in the city's punished for living in the city by having an extra tax, because even the people in the city have to pay a county tax. This is just like double taxation. What do I get for it?
Police, fire,
Right,
public
I get
safety.
police, fire in the county. Okay, That's all good. The only thing I get from the city is they'll come by in a truck and pick up limbs. That's the only thing I get at my city properties.
Mr. Giles, can I ask you a question? Where are your properties located?
Well, most of mine are in the city. I got them on Warren Street. I
Where?
got them at Duplex City.
Uh-huh.
I got them behind Craig Massey's old real estate, behind the Circle K. That's the majority. I got them on Lake Drive. And I got houses scattered out in Riverview. That's the majority.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have street lights where your rental properties are?
I don't know.
Yes, they do.
Yes, you
I
have
think I
those.
do.
Because the majority of them that he's named and are in my district, and they do have street lighting. They have police protection. They have fire protection,
Yeah, water.
and they have a lot that the city provides for them.
Listen, I'm not trying to talk the city down because I love this town. I'll never move. Okay, I love this place. I promote it to other people. One of the promotions I learned from another person. The guy moved here from Ohio, and he told me the reason he loved Baldwin County, he could get in his car at 6 o'clock in the morning and be in the mountains by lunch or be at the ocean by lunch.
That's right.
And it was a great place. We had colleges here, and we had a lake here. I think this is a great place to live. But I'm just saying enough's enough. I don't know how y'all are going to vote tonight. I hope you vote no. But if you vote yes, I'll pay the bill.
But I want to clarify something because you mentioned it twice. You said something about the transportation tax and the sales tax. You do understand that those particular taxes are earmarked for that we can only spend on certain things. They're not put into the general operating fund for the city for us to operate daily.
That's on the T-Splosh,
those
right?
things, yeah, the T-Splosh, that's a transportation tax, and
Right.
it can only be spent on certain things. And the sales tax can only be spent on certain things. So we don't just, even though you may see that money coming in, we can't just spend it to keep your property taxes from going down. We can roll it back. And what we've done in years when our digest was high, we've rolled your taxes back because of the sales tax. And we always take that into consideration whenever we are looking at increasing the tax millage rate. And if you look back at the history of the city, we don't raise taxes that often. We very seldom raise property taxes simply because we'd rather find other ways to do what we do. And for years our department heads have they have not spent very much of their money in their budgets because we've always been frugal with it and then making sure that we didn't spend too much so that we wouldn't go over budget. That's what our department heads do, and that's what the city has always done, so that we can be make sure that we don't waste and don't ask the taxpayers for too much.
I understand, and I've always heard that y'all are frugal with your money. I've heard y'all do a good job managing the money, and I understand that the sales tax and the T-Splosh are earmarked for certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But if it wasn't for that, y'all would be having to pay for that from
Right,
somewhere.
right, and your
Or
taxes
it
would be
just wouldn't
higher.
done.
Or it wouldn't be
Yeah,
done.
You'd have potholes.
So-
you'd have everything.
Right,
all
but I'm
kinds of
saying
problems.
instead of y'all having to worry about money for that, it's going to be coming in additionally. Look, I'm just going to say I'm against the tax. I think the property tax, I said before, is the most unfair tax that there could possibly be. And yes, whatever you put on my bill, I'm going to pay it. That don't mean I got to like it, but I'll pay it. Okay?
I
And I'm just
appreciate
asking,
that.
I hope y'all would vote no.
Yeah, I respect that. Thank
It-
you.
Any other council member want to make a comment before we move on?
I'd just like to say this, Mayor. The next budget cycle will begin in the spring of next year, typically somewhere between March, April, and May. Y'all are welcome to come in, take a look at the budget, and you tell us where we'd like to make those cuts. Should it be in the police department, the fire department, sewage treatment, water treatment? You're welcome to come and join us. Look through. Help us make that hard decision if you think that it's so easy to tighten the belt. Please come in and participate.
It's not. It's not.
Well, you're welcome and invited to come back for that.
Hard decision to figure out how to do it that way.
we'll be here in the spring, and you're welcome to join us then.
So, thank you all for coming and giving us your thoughts on how you feel. Ms. Shinholster's I got my little notes, what I want to say. Ms. Shinholster's already addressed that. Mr. Reynolds have already addressed, and then he even gave out some pointers the last meeting as how you can try to go to the county and get your tax assessments and all that reduced. He and I both share a same occupation of real estate, been in real estate 20-some years. And I do know that when you got into that business of being a property owner, you know, there was thoughts of risk and how things would go up and down when you got in it. I've been in it myself, being a property manager as a realtor. Didn't like it. Didn't do it long because I felt like just what you're saying, you got to evict, you got to put this person out. But as you're coming to us tonight saying, you know, you're having to work with people, they call you, they say, you know, I don't have it, my light's getting turned off. We hear the same stories that you hear. We understand. We feel the same pain. All of us up here are property owners. So when our taxes go up, guess what? Our bills go up, just like yours. But at the end of the day, it's not just one or two people that we got to consider. We have a whole community, a whole city. And if, you know, county, they did a reassessment, but they did one that was generated by law. Every 10 years, they have to do that assessment. So if the county has to continuously look at how they're going to have to pay their bills, then that's fair game for the city as well. We got to keep the police department running. We got to keep the fire department running. We got to keep water. And you all know that we have a lot of problems, and we're trying to correct those problems that we have with the water now. I wish that as you all have sat down evidently and put your pen to the paper, that you, as Mr. Reynolds said, you would come up here and see what we're doing with that budget and how we're squeezing and how we're trying. And yet we got to keep happy employees. We got to keep efficient employees that can do these tasks from day to day. And as you, I think you mentioned last time about the salary, yes, everybody deserves to be paid adequately. You know, that's why I think the government as a whole went up and said that everybody need to be above a wage level, which was $15 an hour. So we do understand, and we thank you for your concerns tonight and bringing them to us. So if there be no other comments on that, this concludes the public hearing on ordinance O-2311-15. This is also the second reading of this ordinance, and we are ready to take a vote. Is there a motion on this ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I need some clarification. That's the open-ended, so a motion to approve.
Motion to
Motion
approve.
to approve, I'm sorry, because you didn't write that down. Okay, is there any discussion? All right, I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Dr. Lee,
Aye.
Ms. Shinholster,
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds,
Aye.
Ms. Mapp.
Aye.
All right, motion is approved. We move to new business, and I will ask the clerk to read Resolution R-2311-45 by caption.
A resolution to authorize a contract with Georgia Safe Sidewalks for sidewalk trip hazard mitigation and Americans with Disabilities Act compliance on portions of sidewalks throughout the city of Milledgeville.
Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Dr. Lee,
Aye.
Ms. Shinholster,
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds,
Aye.
Ms. Mapp.
Aye.
All right, the resolution is adopted. I will ask the clerk to read Resolution R-2311-46 by caption.
A resolution to authorize an agreement with Enterprise Fleet Maintenance to provide fleet maintenance, vehicle rotation leases, and roadside assistance for all City of Milledgeville vehicles.
I guess I'm trying to find my thought process here, since we had spoken about this and you were gonna get with some more information, or did we want to move, or okay. Okay. Is there a motion to adopt?
So moved.
All right, any discussion? Unless clerk, please call the roll. Yeah, somebody said.
Ms. Mapp.
Ms. Mapp did.
Dr. Lee,
Aye.
Ms. Shinholster,
No.
Mr. Reynolds.
Aye.
Ms. Mapp.
Aye.
The resolution is passed. I will ask the clerk to read Resolution R 2311-14 by caption.
Should be 47.
Sorry, I'm looking at 14,
typo
47,
again.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Looking at it wrong.
No typo. Okay.
No.
Okay.
No, you had it right.
A resolution to authorize an agreement with Play South Playground Creators to install new playground equipment in Central City Park.
All right, is there a motion to adopt?
So move. Second.
Is there any discussion? I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Dr. Lee,
Aye.
Ms. Shinholster,
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds.
Aye.
Ms. Mapp.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm waiting on one more person to call. Answer.
City manager say aye on this one.
The resolution is approved. I will ask the clerk to read Resolution R 2311-48. That's bad when you're listening for something.
Resolution R 2311-48, a resolution to approve alcohol license renewal applications as set forth on the attached Exhibit A for the calendar year 2024.
Is there a motion to adopt?
Move we approve.
Second.
Is there any discussion? I'll ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Dr. Lee,
Aye.
Ms. Shinholster,
Aye.
Mr. Reynolds,
Aye.
Ms. Mapp.
Aye.
All right, the resolution is approved. There are no new alcohol license applications or appointments that need to be approved tonight. However, at this time, I need a motion to go into closed session,
Madam Mayor, for what purpose?
a personnel matter.
Second.
So that was Mapp.
A
Motion
personnel
that-
matter.
Mm,
Personnel.
Dr. Lee,
Oh, okay.
motion for personnel matter. Second. Reynolds.
Okay.
All right. So at this time, we're gonna go into closed session. We will be back at the completion of it. You're welcome to stay. So then, we will be back shortly.
What you run for? I'm gonna stay neutral.
Okay.
Okay, this is to go back in open session.
session.
Dr. Lee,
Here.
Ms. Shinholster,
Here.
Mr. Reynolds,
Here.
Ms. Mapp.
Here.
All right. That concludes the items on the agenda. Does anyone on council have any comments or announcements?
Make sure you run your water tonight. Supposed to get down to 27.
Mayor, let me also say, Main Street is watching the weather to determine how large the Christmas tree lighting will be Friday night. It may be simply plugging in the tree and going home and drying out, or depending on what the weather looks like, they will have the full cadre of activities as they're planning to do, but they will make that decision on Thursday, and we will let everybody know what that decision is. So.
I understand
That
the
is not the-
Exchange
that
Club
is not the
is
city's-
looking at the weather
They're
to,
monitoring the weather, but as of now, it will go as planned.
All right. If there's no other announcement, this meeting is
motion to
motion to
adjourn.
adjourn.
It's red.
Second.
Second. Motion, meeting adjourned. Y'all down there talking, we try and get motions.
Ms. Bowden Thomas, I have a question.